Hello, my Corinthian brothers and sisters. Sister Chuchai asked me to share how God has been faithful to me through the years. But first, a story. When we were kids, my tatay gave us a gift. It was a toy bowling set. When we opened the gift, I was disappointed. I told tatay, I was expecting something better, the bigger plastic ones. The bowling set that tatay gave us, it was smaller and made of wood. Tatay was obviously disappointed with my comments. But eventually we opened the gift and used the gift. I found out that this gift was better than the one I like. We enjoyed playing with the wooden bowling set for years. To me, our Lord's faithfulness through the years can be likened to a gift that He constantly offers. It's actually the gift of Him, the gift of being adopted sons and daughters of God, a friend, a brother to Jesus. I never realized it, but He is constantly offering that gift. His constant offer of the gift is the faithfulness that He had given to me throughout the years. I will tell you why I know that His offer is constant and faithful. And of course, it has something to do with the Corinthians. Late last year, I noticed that my eyes were failing me. I could not distinguish faces from a distance of maybe 30 feet. Also, I like reading before I sleep. All of a sudden, one day, I could not read a book anymore. The letters were hazy. I could not sleep at night due to the need to go to the bathroom. I was always thirsty. It turned out I was suffering from type 2 diabetes. My sugar level was just off the chart. Days later, I heard news from that two of our high school acquaintances died of kidney failures due to diabetes complications. It seems like everything was falling apart. My work was also affected due to my poor sleeping habit. I was worried. I was scared. And at this point of my life, I was what you may classify as a minimalist Catholic. My attitude was the minimum things that I can do or the minimum requirement that I can do to go to heaven. Of course, try not to commit mortal sins, follow the Ten Commandments, go to Mass on Sundays and holiday of obligation. It was more of the minimum requirement I can do. And I wasn't doing it because of love. With my failing health and different pressures in life, I realized I need to make a change. Somehow, I realized I need to turn more to God, to pray more, to have a relationship with Him. But I realized it seems that even though I go to Mass and holidays of obligation, my heart was not into it. I felt distant to God. Pero sabi ko sa sarili ko, I need to pray. I need to do something. Maybe to pray every day, to get help from God. I still continued to Mass and with more fervor. But there was only one other prayer that I can do. I started praying the rosary every day on my way to work. I asked the help of Our Lady. It was so intense. Really, I was surprised. It was to the point that sometimes while praying, tears would well up in my eyes because of fear, because of sadness and worries. But there were also occasions wherein I felt love. I felt so much peace. I felt the comfort of a son being comforted by his mother. And it was just a joyful and peaceful time. After months of doing this every day, another grace poured in. And I attribute this to the intercession for Lady. A friend asked me to go to a retreat. For the past 10 or 15 years, I've been intermittently invited to this retreat, and I would always find an excuse not to go. I don't think that I needed to go, and I didn't have the inclination to do so. But in this instance, for some reason, I said yes. In the retreat, lo and behold, I suddenly realized that all these lukewarm years to God, I became blind and deaf to Him. In the retreat, all of a sudden, I can see. I was deaf and can now hear. I didn't know the way, but found the way. And you know what messages I heard during the retreat? The messages that I heard can be simplified to three things. First message was, God's calling me. God is calling me to have a relationship with Him, to be His son, to be His adopted son. God's calling me to be a brother to Jesus. Diba? It's the same call in our Corinthian weekend. It's God's call. Second message, that I received was, God loved me so much that He gave His only begotten Son, that Jesus died on the cross for me, specifically for me. The message was God's love. It's the same message that we had in our Corinthian weekend. And now when I see a cross symbolizes love with a capital L. And finally, during the retreat, I was reminded of my call to be a disciple of Jesus, to be another Christ to my brothers and sisters, to everybody that I meet along the way, to pass on God's love. Pass it on, God's love. One of the messages that we have in our Corinthian weekend. For all these 30 plus years, He had the same invitation, the same message, the same gift that He wants me to open. He has been faithful to me all these years. Siguro yung bowling set na regalo ng tatay ko, if we did not use it, we did not open it, malamang after a day, it would have been given to others who would use it, who would enjoy it. Pero our Lord's gift, maski hindi ko pinansin during these past years, it was still being offered constantly. And I know it will be offered until I die. If that is not faithfulness, I don't know what faithfulness is. Again, He is constantly faithful. He is constantly telling me that I am an adopted son of God, that He loves me. After hearing the message again, the invitation, the gift, my constant prayer now is for me to continue to be a friend of Jesus, a disciple, that I may never set aside again this gift that He constantly offers, that I may pass on God's love until the day He calls me by my name. To end my sharing, I just wish to read a verse in the Bible, 1 Corinthians chapter 1 verse 9. God, who has called you into fellowship with His Son Jesus Christ our Lord, is faithful. God, who has called you into fellowship with His Son Jesus Christ our Lord, is faithful. Congratulations to the Corinthians. Happy 30th anniversary.